Caroline, and today I'm here with Krishna and Peter to talk about the solar project, and also welcome back to Silver Edition. So, what is the Sustainability Committee and who makes up the committee?
Sustainability Committee was started by, it's a board committee, the school board committee, and it contains members of the board, members of the public, and some students and staff and from the district, and we get some participation from administrators.
Nice. Krishna, are you the only student in it, or how many other students are in it?
No, so we've had some student representatives in the past. Currently, the only student representatives on this board are myself, as well as Mary Collins.
Nice. All right, so what are some initiatives that the Sustainability Committee are taking up at this moment? Well,
the big one right now we're working on is the solar project, and that's taking all our time. And if we get this one done, we're complete with this one, we can sort of look at other things. Right now, this is one we're focused on.
So how did the solar panel project actually get started?
A couple of years ago, after we started the Sustainability Committee, we started looking for opportunities, things that the district can do. We had been doing for a long time energy efficiency improvements, things like changing to LED lights, putting a cover on the swimming pool. And we were looking for bigger things, and we did an evaluation of solar. And then about a year ago, an opportunity came up where the Public Service Commission set out a grant proposal, and it happened to match the size of the project on the high school that we had considered earlier, that we had sort of roughly planned out as something to do. And it's like, oh, this is a good match. And so we jumped on that opportunity from the PSC to move forward with this.
That's really, really cool. So, and how large is this project actually in terms of size and energy savings as well?
Well, the project is going to supply 50% of the high school building's electrical needs. Okay, and when that size is picked, because that's about the point where we get the most return for our money. In other words, lets us put the most solar panels on the roof for the money, for the investment, and get the highest returns. And so that's about 675 kilowatts of installed capacity, that's going to translate to depends on the cost of electricity, maybe $80,000 of savings each year over the life of the project. Net of the cost of the panels of the installation, it should save us at least $1.5 million.
Yeah, and to give some life to that $1.5 million, I mean, think about it. Olivia, you and I were high school students. Yeah. I mean, think about it. $1.5 million more dollars for people just like us to have in their high school experience. I mean, it is more than just a number. Yeah. It is really a new future.
I can think of a lot of things that the school can use $1.5 million for that they've saved with the solar panels. So you touched on the grant, but how is this project being financed?
Well, the bulk of the project is being financed with just the standard tools that school districts use to finance, which is a bond issue. In other words, we're selling bonds to cover the cost of the installation of the project for about $1 million. And that's about a quarter, and then the grant is another quarter of the project. And then we'll be using the savings, most of them at first, but less as time goes on, to pay back the interest and principal on the bonds. And that's just the ordinary way that school districts finance buildings.
I actually did not know that. I learned something new today. So over all our other buildings in the district, such as GDS and Taylor Prairie, why was the high school chosen for this project?
Because the high school is the biggest energy user in the district right now, and so that 50% number I talked about, given the size of the money that's available and the size of the project that we could do, the high school was an excellent match for that. And then on top of that, it's also the high school where all the students in the district come together. It's not one of our elementary schools, for example, in Monona or Cottage Grove. Everybody's here. Everybody will see it, and everybody will get to benefit from it. So it was a coincidence of this is sort of the desirable project, and it's a good match for what we want to do, the size and what we want to do.
Yeah, and I feel like Peter covered that pretty well. But an advantage, I think, of having the high school as the site chosen for this project is the fact that you're going to have thousands of people, teachers, students, taxpayers alike, who can really see this project and see the impact it's having on its community. I feel as though the issue of climate change, which of course this project references, and in many ways responds to, is something that is ever more predominant in our current generations. And when you have people, typically high schoolers, who are coming of age and starting to question the world they live in and how they can take action, seeing an example of how they can take action really in their own homes, I feel like is a strong message to anyone who happens to walk through Monona, and it is a testament to the fact that together we can make a change. I mean, it was just community members like Peter, student representatives like myself, and all those others who have come before me that made this difference. There is really nothing that is outside of our reach.
Okay.
One of the things we want to do with this project is we want to make it visible, people to see it and say, hey, what's going on here? And then they might get more involved with how we're financing the money we're saving and so on, and this will increase acceptance, and it'll also enable other people to do other similar projects. And so it's bigger than doing just this high school. Our goal is to help everybody in the state get more sustainable when it comes to the power they use.
Yeah, and now realizing this, our school is by a belt line, so many people see it. So based off what I'm thinking, that they will see it and hope to do the same as well.
Right.
So when will this construction actually begin, and what is involved with solar panel projects such as this?
It's already begun, and what you haven't seen is that they've done work on the electrical system in the building. Understanding that Monday they're going to have a crane here and they're going to start putting panels on the building over spring break. They're going to pick them up, put them on the roof, and they'll be installing them over the next several weeks. The last thing that needs to be done will be the interconnection to the power grid with MG&E, the local power grid, and that will be completed this summer. We don't know exactly when. But the solar panel array should be installed and complete within the next several weeks.
So when we come back from spring break, there will be most of the solar panels up on the roof.
They'll be stacked on the roof. They won't be in place on the roof.
That's still pretty cool. Will there be any interruptions at the high school that people should be aware of as this project is getting closer to be completed?
Next week during spring break, there's going to be a shutdown of the building power to do some of the work, but it's during spring break, so it'll be minimal disruption.
But I will say that we've been talking on this committee that we, in fact, in the kindest way possible, we do want a bit of disruption caused by this project. Because if students could hear hammers above their heads or basically the sounds of the solar panels being installed, that's going to draw awareness to this project. And the moment you have students becoming aware, well, they're going to go home and talk to their parents who like to input at the school and whose taxes go to this place. And with that, you start having a ripple effect. It starts here and it's going to spread throughout the community. And so that's why we're hoping that this project can quite literally make a little bit of noise, because that's just going to send a ripple effect through our community and hopefully rally a lot of support behind this.
Yeah, and we have students from two different communities, from the Madison area and the Cottage Grove area, so it's widespreading really, really quickly. So when these solar panels actually start generating electricity, where will be the ribbon cutting or the open house for people to see?
We're planning an event for May 21st.
Ooh.
At 9 in the morning, 9 to noon, with event at 10 and open house tours and so on that Saturday morning.
Sweet.
Yeah, we actually look forward to hopefully securing a few high-profile guests, such as the governor and the lieutenant governor. So
you reach high.
We try to. Yeah, I mean that's what we're going in with the hope of. So yeah, it really will be a fascinating event, and really anyone who's interested should save the date and plan to attend, because it is just going to be a wonderful event for Monona.
All right, so as we know, we're getting solar panels in the high school, but will any other buildings in the school district be getting them as well in the future?
Hopefully. This project, if it goes well and everything is going fine as it is, and this project will serve as a learning process that we can use to do other things in the rest of the school. So right now, it makes perfect sense to do that because of the finances. The finances alone justify making those decisions. So it's something that we hope we can take on in the near future.
All right, I feel like it would be really cool if like the elementary schools, because they're the next generation after us and they can bring their ideas to it as well. So what other opportunities or efforts is the committee and the school district currently looking at?
Well, some of the things that we've looked at is what happens when we build new buildings. For example, we just built a new elementary school in Cottage Grove. This is an extremely efficient school building. And the committee, for example, reviewed the construction of that, and it's helped reduce the power we use, the energy we consume per student as we move to new buildings. We've also invested a lot of money in efficiency projects. We have a lot of older buildings in this district, and we've done things like replace the windows and replace the lights and caulked the doors, and there's a lot of easy things, and as time goes on, it gets harder and harder. But the next step is to do things like to move to sustainable power, for example, solar panels on additional schools. We should also want to take a look at things like the transportation opportunities we have in this district. We have our school buses are, the facility where they store the school buses is across the street from the landfill that generates sustainable natural gas, renewable natural gas. So there are opportunities, other things that we certainly can look at.
Yeah, obviously I'm not an expert and a veteran like Peter is on this board, but I will say that this project in many ways is a testament to what we can do. And it's a sign that we are willing as a community to commit to a future that not only is better for our schools and for our community, but also a future that we must. As I touched on earlier, climate change is going to become an ever more dire issue. It's something that we have to address, and whether that's on the big national level or the small local level, we have to show the fact that we can make a change. And this project is a step towards that. It's a step towards a future that we hope to embody, and shows that despite the fact that we are facing a lot of challenges, we can move forward with a solution. And so I feel as though once this project is realized, then there's really no telling what can happen in our community. And so that's a kind of the nice fact about what this project can do. It's not just the financial as well as green benefits for Monona Grove High School alone. Those financial and green benefits will spread throughout the community. And that's a future that we hope to build.
It's like one small step, like what they said when they landed on the moon. I don't remember the full quote, but they said one small step for mankind. For a man, and then
giant
one
leap for mankind.
It's almost exactly like that.
Yeah. So
well, I'm very glad Krishna's here because I think that there's an obligation for folk from my generation to show everybody and that we can do something. Show your generation what we can do, and that we can, when we work together, we can make a difference.
Yeah, because I will say I've been very involved with climate activism for the last 2 years now, and I've gone to like many clubs and groups, and I feel as though the change I see is that a lot of the people who want to take up this cause are young. They're just like you and me. Mm-hmm. And if we can use our voice, if we can actually show that we can make a change, that is a huge step forward. And even though there are a lot of other people who aren't like us, who are perhaps older, that do want to take up this cause, I feel as though one day we will have to step up and recognize this as our responsibility. This is our future we're talking about. But if we can make a difference, and hopefully we will, then, like I said, there is a ton of hope that can be seen in this project. And that hope is something that will definitely inspire us towards that new generation.
And it'll create a bunch of other possibilities for people to come as well. So how can people get involved with the project right now or other sustainability efforts across the school district or even outside of the school district?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
This project is being introduced in science classes this week in the high school for students who are interested. Students, but one thing students can do is take those lessons home, say, take this information home that we're doing this. We will have data available from the panel when it's up and running, available to students to see how much power it's generating, how much money it's saving. One of the big things we can do is for everybody to take this information, hey, this works here, it'll work elsewhere, and it can make a big difference.
Because with bringing that information home, it will spread it, because then you tell it to your parents, and your parents will go sharing it to everyone else what you learned.
Right. Students in other schools, other school districts, and in our schools should be saying, hey, they're doing that. Why don't we have solar panels on our roof? We could be doing that. We could be doing our part. And so if students see it here, and they should be asking those questions so that everybody starts asking those questions.
Exactly. I mean, this will be the largest solar array on any K-12 facility in Wisconsin.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's out of like 1,000.
2,000.
2,000. Stand corrected. So yeah, I mean, that really shows that Monona's going to have the headline in a couple months. I mean, this is a huge project, not just for our community, not just for our little neighborhoods, but really the whole state and perhaps even the country. And so with that, it's exactly like Peter said. We want people to see that and feel as though, well, okay, if people in Monona could do this, well, couldn't we make a difference?
If we're doing this right, it won't be the largest for very long.
Yeah.
Because somebody else will say...
We'll be the role models, and
that's
we'll
right.
be
Somebody
the
else
people
say, we
looking
do
up
this, and
at
their
you.
project should be a different size, because it should be sized to the building, the school, and the other conditions.
We are like the first generation of Google. I don't know what generation we're in now, but it keeps getting bigger and better each time they redo it. So we're the hope that people will do better than us when they do it again next time.
Exactly. The next one should be better than ours.
We should steal the bragging rights while we still can. No!
We'll take it as not bragging rights.
I'm happy so long as we're the largest for one day.
Yes, our 5 minutes of fame.
That's right.
All right, so that's all we have today for a Silver Edition. I hope to see you next week. Have a good day.
Thank you.